Hey everybody, welcome back for another game break. So I bit the bullet. I played the Project Triangle Strategy demo. And usually I'm not a fan of playing demos. Usually I just want to wait till the game's fully released and then I can enjoy it all at once. But this being a tactical role-playing game in the same vein of Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre, and the fact that all of my friends were trying it, I just couldn't let it slip me by. So I decided to play it, and I really enjoyed it.
Brother!
Yo! Yo! What? Oh man, that is such a good touch. It's going to make the wait a bit harder now for the game because I enjoyed it so much. And I am honestly of the opinion, if they released Project Triangle Strategy now, in the current state that it's in with no further improvements, I think it would be a hit. Honestly, I think it'd be very well received. I think it would sell decently. And I think it would get some more fans into the tactical role-playing game genre, which we desperately need because there needs to be more tactical role-playing games, in my esteemed opinion. Because if it wasn't for Fire Emblem, Nintendo was currently the only AAA developer doing tactical role-playing games. As far as I can remember, I know there's XCOM as well. There hasn't been a new game in that franchise in a while. So I just want, I would love it if this game sold 10 million copies and all of a sudden all the developers are like, oh, there's money in tactical role-playing games, and we just get an absolute ton of them. Now, that is my hope. So let's talk about the demo itself now. So for the combat, I really enjoyed the combat. I love tactical role-playing game combat generally. And for this game, so they're switching it up a little bit. So it doesn't seem like currently there is a job system in place, very much like Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. Very much it seems like the direction they're going is we're going to have a whole bunch of recruitable characters, like Suikoden possibly. And I hope that is the case and that is the direction they're going because I think that'd be really neat. Everyone has their own unique flavor and personality that way. So that I could get on board with. So I think that's what they're going to do. We're just going to have a whole bunch of recruitable characters and they're all going to have things that they're good at and very unique, specific abilities to them. There could be essentially a class level up system, possibly, kind of like Vandal Hearts, where you would pick a class, you go a route, and then you would essentially just keep leveling up that same class throughout the game. They could go something like that. But that is a lot of sprite work too, possibly, especially if there's an appearance change with changing classes. So I think that is something that could work. And I love the fact that you get 9 playable characters as well per map. Maybe we'll even get more. I don't know. But I always like that about the Tactics Ogre series over the Final Fantasy Tactics series. I liked how Tactics Ogre just allowed you to have more characters on the map. And it just made battles a little bit more, I guess, chaotic. There was just more going on all the time. So I really liked that. And the thing with the difficulty setting in its current state in the demo, it felt really tight. I didn't feel like I could mess around too much. I felt like if I got cocky, that I would pay dearly for it, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And all the characters, they all had their own strengths. I didn't find anyone useless. Yes, some characters were more useful than others in certain situations. For example, Anna in the first battle, wow, she was my superstar that battle. Just the fact that she could act twice, attack, then cloak, and then dart away. Loved that. Absolutely loved it. So the combat was very solid. I don't really know where they could improve it at this point. Based off the direction they seem to be going with us possibly just getting a whole bunch of recruitable characters. Because we were able to recruit 3 different characters in this short demo. So going forward, there could be quite a few different characters for us to recruit. We'll just have to wait and see. But otherwise, combat, very solid. There could be some tweaks here and there, but generally, I really enjoyed what I played. And another thing that was incredibly jarring, but also very welcome, was the fact that we get to explore the maps we're going to have these battles on before so. Looking for items or just getting a lay of the land. So I really liked that. It was just so surreal being able to freely explore in a tactical role-playing game. especially with sprites. We've never been able to do that before. So that was awesome. And I really liked the scales of conviction and the whole democratic process that entails. I enjoyed talking to the different characters and doing my best to try and convince them to see my way of thinking. I really liked that bit of debate aspect. And I just love that fact because everyone's going to have differing opinions and different viewpoints based off of our own individual natures and how we were raised and our life experiences. So I really appreciate that. And that's why I think we're just going to be able to recruit a vast amount of characters in this game with unique personalities and really not have a job system, because we're going to get all these different personality types and some will be easier to convince than others. So I'm very curious to see how they do that. But no, loved the scales of conviction. Thought it was a great addition. I loved the fact that we could go around town and gather evidence to use in our debates going forward in order to convince people and have stronger arguments. I just thought that was really well done. I thought it was really cool. It could maybe get tedious down the road. I don't know, but right now I do like it. And another thing I really liked about the demo was its story. And this was the thing that concerned me the most after we saw the reveal trailer. In the reveal trailer, it looked great. The combat looked fun, but I was just worried about the story, because if the story's garbage, then unfortunately for me, it's going to ruin pretty much the entire game. But even though we were dropped into the middle of things happening in this demo, I was thoroughly engaged the moment things started to go down. Obviously, we got Glenbrook being invaded. And then the thing I really loved is after that whole sequence, that first battle sequence, is we get the different perspectives of the different houses in Glenbrook and how the heads of these houses are thinking and how they're reacting to current events. I love that. And for future playthroughs, those were completely optional scenes. We didn't have to look at them at all if we didn't want to. So for people who really enjoy the story and love seeing that kind of stuff, I can go and do that. But people who just want to get the main story beats and enjoy the gameplay, they can go do that too. So I think that was a really smart design decision on their part. And I just love having multiple factions being involved and them having their own agendas. I just love that kind of thing. And you all know I just eat that stuff up. So awesome with that. And I love the fact, very much like Tactics Ogre again, is we get branching storylines. I have a very hard time being the bad guy in video games. I generally go the Paragon route or the good guy route, generally. But I will always do the bad guy route too, just to see how things go down. And you will always get a new perspective on characters as well. If you join the bad faction, you see, their line of thinking, and you obviously see that they get a bit more development when you go that route as well. So generally, I feel like we'll get a better understanding of the A-Frost characters, or at least a different understanding of them by going the bad route, I'm assuming at this point. So I love the fact there's multiple routes, ton of replayability. That's awesome. And from a graphical and artistic direction standpoint, I pretty much have zero complaints with this game. I do have some things I would change, but they're almost very nitpicky. But graphically speaking, we all love the sprite look. We all love the HD 2.5D look. Looks fantastic. The water in this game. I would just look at the water constantly and be like, just wow, they are just doing an amazing job. And the thing I really love about the sprites in this, and this is something that a lot of tactical role-playing games don't do, is when you see your character or your sprites on the field, is you don't see their weapons until they attack. Everyone's got their weapon out, which I absolutely love and was such a pet peeve of mine playing the older tactics games. And they do the sprite work for all the different weapons, it's just we don't see it till they attack. And I just love the fact that everyone's holding a weapon out. I don't think that the sprite animation is going to change per weapon. I just don't think they're going to do that. They could totally surprise me, but even if they don't, I love the fact that everyone's got a weapon out. And something I would change, and this is me being nitpicky, is I would love it if bodies stayed on the battlefield. In Tactics, Ogre, and Final Fantasy Tactics, I would love just killing enemies and seeing their bodies on the field. Just so I know the damage I'm doing to the enemy by just seeing bodies all over the map. But I understand if that's a lot of demand on the system. And it seems permadeath is going to be the route they go in this game. At least for just the battles we fight, characters will be revived after. But if you get killed in battle with a character, they're gone. So I don't mind that. It obviously makes it that you have to be much more strategic in the game as well. So it's something I can get used to, for sure. And visually, spell effects look good. Weapon abilities looked really cool. I generally liked how everything moved in this game. I'm probably going to go through the demo again just because I didn't do the bad guy story route yet. Or the bad quote-unquote route where we give up the prince. So I have to do that still, so I'll kind of go into it again and figure it out. But generally, I liked virtually everything visually so far. And for the audio, in terms of music, I generally liked everything I heard. I don't think anything really blew me away during the demo, but the music fit and it did its job, so that was a plus. Now this next part, you guys can probably help me with, and I can't make up my mind on it. And that's the voice acting. So when I heard the voice acting initially, I'm like, holy crap, this is really good. And then after we get like through a few more lines, I'm like, ooh, that sounded a little rough, or that sounded a little awkward. So it was very much going back and forth between this is awesome voice work and then, ooh, this is kind of awkward voice work. So maybe it's not great, and definitely it's not terrible. Maybe it's just good. I just can't make up my mind. How I feel about the voice work is, while the quality of the voices themselves is good, I feel like the delivery is off a little bit. But let me know. I've been thinking about it so much, I've kind of got myself twisted up in a knot about the voice work. So definitely give me your opinion on that. And if this game's anything like Octopath Traveler was, we'll get the Japanese VA as well, so I can always just switch to that, because generally I always enjoy the Japanese VA. I think the only game I didn't personally enjoy it was for Final Fantasy 15, but otherwise I always think it's a good option generally. So let me know what you think of the voice acting. And then this is my number one change. And this is me being a total nerd about it. And that is, when characters are talking, where the heck is their character portrait in the dialogue box? Yes, I know you can hit the X button, and we can go to their profile and we can see their full character art, and we can see their crest or their coat of arms and their title, which is great. I love that. Keep that. I love that touch. So everyone can keep track of who's who. So keep that, but just in their dialogue box, have their portrait. The character art is so good for this game and so many other games. It's just at least myself, and I'm sure a lot of you feel this way too, I just love looking at the character art. It's so good and you work so hard on it. Just let us look at it. I feel like it's no big thing. Just have the character portrait in the dialogue box. Final Fantasy Tactics did it, Tactics Ogre did it, and a lot of the old RPG Swiss Sprite work did it too, like Suikoden once again. Always had character portraits. So that is honestly my number one change so far. It's just add character portraits. I know I'm being a huge nerd, but I just love character portraits. I do. So, in conclusion, by and large, awesome. Very few complaints with the demo. I hope it sells, once again, 10 million copies, and we get tactical role-playing games up the yin-yang going forward. Because it's just such an underappreciated gem of a genre. And as I said in my reaction to the game's announcement trailer, I don't care what this game costs. I don't care what the special edition costs. This is an immediate pre-order for me. It was already, and this just solidified it further, not that it needed to. But now Project Triangle Strategy has solidified its place in my most anticipated games of 2022. Easily. It's at the very top of the list with Yuden Chronicle. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this Game Break demo impression video, and I'll talk to you later.